Okay, so here's a great way of using Excel and Spire's API to analyze your inventory sales by year, by month. So if you go on a URL and go to your server, so that's in my case, I've just got on my local computer, but your server name or IP address would go in there, :10880, which is the default port API, and version 2, V2. And then we're going to go to companies. I'll go to sample data on the URL. I'm going to go down to inventory, and I'm going to click on the movement tab. And that's the URL that I want for Excel. I'm just going to add here $limit equals 0. That way we get more records. Limit, it just means no limit. So I'm going to copy that URL. Then I'm going to open Excel. Get that on my other monitor. So in Excel, I'm now going to go data from web, put in my URL that I copied. And if you have never used Excel with this server, it's going to ask you for your Spire username and password because it uses Spire security to know what you're allowed to get access to. Okay, then we're going to click on the word list. We're going to go to table, no delimiter. We're going to split that and we'll decide on the records we want. I'll just check them all except for ID. Everything else might be, I don't need modified by, created by, or dates whenever modified or created. Okay, that's all we use. And then we're going to take the inventory code and split that out. So I don't need the ID again. I don't need my colors. Sales department group is good. Okay, then under sales department, I'm going to put the code in. And under anyone that says record, it means it's another table it's looking at. You want to split that out. The date field, you need to change that to date field, not date time. Any quantities, you need to make a decimal number. Okay. The link table is important because this knows where the movement came from. So this is inventory all the way through, adjustments, purchase orders, sales orders, so on, inventory adjustments. So that's all types of movement it has. Okay. Link number, that's the document that created it. So the invoice number, the transfer number, whichever. We don't need the GUID, so let's just go ahead and remove that. We could have removed that earlier. Decimal number again, split this record out to the vendor code and split this out for the customer code. Okay, that should do. Okay, so now we're going to load that into Excel. The beauty is, now that this has been designed, I simply just have to hit refresh and it'll grab the newest data from Spire without having to recreate any of this. Okay, I'm just going to rename this to movement. Okay, and then I'm going to go insert, pivot table, all my data. And then what I'm going to do here now is take my part number and throw it on as a row. I'm going to put my date in my columns. So it put it in quarters and years. So I'm going to right click on that, go to group and take the quarters out. I want just months and years. So there we go. And then I'm going to take my quantities and throw them down in values. So there's all the inventory movement that's happened in those particular time, in that time period. Now what I'm going to probably want to do is add some criteria to add to this report. So what I'll do now is I'll go, so link table, add it as a slicer. So I can choose whether it's sales history I'm looking at. So this is just my sales. Look at just adjustments or purchase orders. I mean, choose what we want there. Then we just move that to where we need it. We'll probably also want a date filter, so a date on there, a date slicer. So add as a slicer there. So now I can choose my dates here. Make that like that. And we got past years there. What else we want here? We could probably ask maybe even a customer or a part number, or maybe warehouse if you want to. You could add in your customer code. So if I go add a slicer, okay, so now we'll just close the query thing off here, put these off to the side, and now I can just start selecting. So there's February, there's May, there's August. Now I just got months in here, probably better off having dates and months. You can do that as well. You can always clear a filter by just clicking on it and go clear filter. It brings everything back again. I want just a part number, or sorry, just a customer, like that. Again, clear it. Okay. So again, with this laid out now, I can go ahead and file save as this spreadsheet, and this whole thing just comes back anytime I want. And that's it. Simple as that.